The Kansas City Chiefs have returned to practice. Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy and teammates were seen enthusiastically on the practice field. Yesterday, Chiefs wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster spoke highly of Kelce's impact on the offense, opening opportunities for receivers during Wednesday's press conference. "You have a guy like him, Travis Kelce, who's so impactful on the field. In my opinion, I think it's amazing. I think it's great," said Smith-Schuster. "He's getting to the double team. He's getting the ones, their best player, to cover him. And that kind of just opens as a receiver group and other guys who get open an opportunity like that. Compared to him, he's a very smart player. So he knows how to play in space, knowing when it's man coverage, when it's zone, something that's pretty cool."
Go for Chris.
Chris, what's it like to go against the 49ers again?
It's fun. It's going to be competitive. Energy is going to be high. It's a good team. One of those better teams that you could probably have the possibility to see in February. So we know what's at stake. We know the challenge ahead of us, and we're excited for it.
Chris, as a defensive lineman, is there certain stats you wish that could be evaluated on and kind of be based on the impact you have on a game versus just like, did they get a sack or not?
Are we talking about this team or defensive line
just
as a
in
whole?
general, as defensive line, that you wish there was some kind of stats that you could base more on than just if the person got a sack or not. For example, you take on double and triple teams, and you have an impact in the backfield. You wish there was any stats that would be for defensive linemen that aren't readily available right now.
No, I think it's all varies. You look at a guy like Quentin Williams. He doesn't have the stats, but the impact that he has on that defensive line, that defense as a whole, doesn't compare to what he's doing in a game throughout the game, taking on a double team so somebody else can get open. So, when you take that into account, I don't think as a defensive lineman, it's hard to be appreciated as much unless you got 10 to 15 sacks and, unless you got the numbers. But it doesn't take away from what he's contributing to their team and their defense success. And I think this is overall, when you look at a lot of guys who doesn't have the numbers but having such an outstanding year that the numbers doesn't match up. It's one of those type of games, man, and it's okay to not have the numbers. They've been through it before. You can't pay attention to numbers. Team success is the best success, you know what I mean? So I'm not really a numbers guy. I don't really care, It is good to have the numbers, though.
Chris, ignoring the numbers, are you satisfied with the impact you're having on these games?
I'm never really satisfied, man, because I want the numbers, okay? They don't really matter, but I would love to have, 2 sacks every game. But I think more so importantly, it's about winning the game and playing the best you can play with your ability. And if, God willing, I get the numbers with it also. But then you got to understand that sometimes you might not get the numbers no matter how hard you work during the off season and how much you prepare. Sometimes just the ball doesn't fold in your hand, and sometimes you have those type of years, and those are learning curves you can learn from. But you can't let that deter towards your worth or what you consider yourself as a player because you don't have the numbers. That can be challenging on the mental aspect of it. But it's bigger than the numbers, you know what I mean? Sometimes the impact is bigger than your personal numbers. Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it's about the players around you, So I think when you take that into account, most of the time it's about the unselfish play. You got to get yourself out of that mind frame of me and think about more so people around you, because if the people around you succeed, then you've done more than enough.
That's my point. Are you satisfied that even though your stat numbers aren't necessarily huge, that you're having that?
Listen, man, we played 5 games. I got 3 sacks. I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? Listen, like I say every year, I get my numbers. Might be early, might be later. I never really harp on, I got to get these certain numbers before this. Listen, I got 5 games, 3 sacks. I'm cool. 10 games with 8 sacks. I'm cool. Like, so we just gonna continue to ride this ship and let it go.
Chris, what do you think of what Turk's given you guys this year?
Oh, he's been tremendous for this defense. He's made a lot of progression from last year. I mean, last year was his first year back coming off the ACL, and most importantly, we knew Turk capabilities and what he could do and what he could bring to this team. It was more so about him getting healthy. And he's been so good so far. First quarter of the season, he's been excelling and propelling in the right direction. So we just got to keep that consistent and continue to get better throughout the rest of the year.
And then what stands out about Dominic Cooney, 77 for 49ers when rookie when you watch him on tape?
I mean, the offensive line worked well together, and then they got an outstanding quarterback at Brock Purdy. So looking forward to the matchup.
Do you remember the first time, Chris, where you got double teamed at a consistent manner, or you felt like the opposing team sort of game plan for you more specific than maybe earlier in your career?
Listen, my mind is everywhere right now. I can't fucking remember 5, 6, 7 years ago. But no, that's just the respect level. Oh my God. Knock on wood. I hope it don't come too early. But that's just the respect level that you have. I'll take it offensive when I don't get double teamed. You know what I mean? So that's the challenge I look forward to, facing double teams the whole game. And when the time comes, I get a one-on-one block. I make sure I try to win it to my best ability.
Couple more.
Chris, obviously you separated team success and individual success, but when you're one of these top defensive players in the league, what would a defensive player of the year accolade mean to you just in the course of your life and career?
I think as a personal aspect and as a selfish individual, looking at it from just my perspective, and I mean a lot, I'll take a damn Super Bowl over DPOY any day. You know what I mean? You look at J.J. Watt, right? I have so much respect for J.J. Watt, one of my favorite all-time players. I'm quite sure he'll trade all 3 of his DPOYs for 3 Super Bowls, right? So you're talking to a guy who got 3 Super Bowls. I mean, we win another Super Bowl. Middle fingers up to a DPOY, okay? But we win another Super Bowl with a DPOY, okay? Now we're talking, you know what I mean? So, like, personal stats, man, if it equals team success, I'm all for it.
Anything else?
Team stat wise, you guys have really taken opposing teams' running backs out of the equation. Can you put your finger on why it is that you guys are so good at that?
Well, when you look at the big guys we got up front, we got Mike Pennell, we got Derek Nottie, those 330-pound brothers right there. And, we got Tershawn Warren playing his best game. You know what I mean? We got George Karlaftis stopping the run at a high level. We got Mike Dana. And we got Phillips coming along. We got a lot of guys who has been contributing to the team's success, and we got our linebackers who's flowing down hills. Whether it's Leo Chanel, Nick Bolton, we got guys that's flying downhill, and we got a defense like that, and we got some of the best tackling corners in the league right now. So we continue to have that and continue to prove on that. I think we can be better.
Last one.
It's potentially a big week for Felix. Just curious the growth you've seen from him in year 2.
Listen, man, I said it during training camp. Felix is he's playing some really good ball. He's coming into himself, and I think that happens with repetition, catching the speed of the game, coming out of K-State. Different type of game, you know what I mean? If it was the SEC, I'd be different about it, but I'm biased. But no, he's coming into himself. He's progressing well. I think that's a lot to do with Joe Cullen in the room, and we continue to demand better out of him, and he's taking it well. So got to continue to be consistent with it and continue to get better off of that, continue to build.
Thank you, Chris.
No
Thank
problem.
you.